The bristles on the broom made a scrapping sound as Curio swept up around the stall. The sky was already starting to turn a yellowish-orange hue, signaling that the night was almost here. The day had gone by quickly, and not a lot had seemed to happen in the marketplace. Children were still running around before having to have dinner and go to bed. Just as Curio was finishing the sweeping and putting the dirt and garbage in the fires, he saw Cordelia approaching the stall. Curio put away his equipment and met Cordelia as she reached the stall. "Good evening, Cordelia. I hope the boy and the baby seem to be feeling as well as you seem to be," Curio greeted her. But Volio's gotten much better at the task of being a father. "I finally got a chance to get out of the house and get some fresh air," she replied. "It looks to be doing you quite well," Curio commented. "I do hope that Francisco isn't bullying you too much. I know that he can be a handful sometimes," Cordelia said with a smile. He scoffed a little. "All the man irritates me is with his frivolous nature with women," he replied. Curio started putting away his inventory as he was talking, and his face gave a small smile. "But he is good company when drinking, and you can trust him to have your back guarded, even if I can guard my back perfectly fine," Curio commented. Cordelia laughed and began helping him with his inventory. "You two have always been close ever since we were children, even if you mostly squabbled like fighting chickens," she said. There was a pause while they were putting away the last of the inventory. Then Cordelia spoke up. "How is he? He hasn't visited in a while," Cordelia asked. Curio closed the stall before answering. "With him, it can be hard to tell. On the surface, he appears to be fine, as he frolics in his lady companionships. But I know that he goes through his own turmoil each day, just as I do," Curio replied. Cordelia gave a soft smile. "And you?" Curio asked. Cordelia looked surprised. "And me what?" she replied. Curio offered his arm for a walk, and she accepted. They began to walk through the town. "As I recall correctly, you were the one who broke down when you heard about the fate of Our Lady. I know you two were closer than sisters. It must have been hard on you as well." Cordelia looked up at the sky and smiled gently as a soft breeze hit her face. "Juliet would not want me to be moping about like a lost dog. She would want me to be happy, just as I know she is. She smiled, did she not, when she said her goodbyes to you? That means she knew what she was doing, and that she would be happy. If she had Lord Romeo at her side, it didn't matter what she faced, even if it was death herself," Cordelia answered. "How do you fare, Curio, at the loss of Juliet?" she asked. Curio watched ahead in silence as he thought about what to say. "Some nights are better than others, but her loss will always be in my heart," Curio answered. "It has always helped me to think of her happiness in my time of grieving. You guarded her more than anyone, kept her safe. For that I know she was always eternally grateful," Cordelia said. She stopped and placed her hand on his own. "But now it is time to find someone of your own. I know my brother must have offered you women and advice, but I am saying this as Juliet's friend. Please no more dwelling on what could have been. Focus on the future," she told him. He placed his hand over hers. "I thank you, fair Cordelia, for your advice. I will do my best to do as you have spoken," he answered. She smiled gently and moved her hand from his shoulder. Cordelia put her hands on her hips. "Now I must go. God knows what has happened in my absence in the house." "Have a good night, Curio," Cordelia said. "You as well, Cordelia. Say hello to Benvolio for me," he told her. "Will do. I'm sure he will be happy to hear it," she said. She waved goodbye and began walking in the direction of her house. He watched her go until she disappeared, then turned back and headed back to his home. Francisco sighed as he walked the streets, wondering where he should sleep for the night. He wondered if he should sleep with one of his flowers, or in the theater hall. It had been a few days since his conversation with William, and he hadn't been able to see Celia at all because he had been busy with paperwork. William's words rang in his ears. How could he be in love with Celia? The man was more of a brute than a rock. Memories of the last time they drank together flashed through his mind. Then the memories of the night they had spent together. It was impossible. Celia simply wouldn't be with him. But what if he would? As if on cue, when Francisco lifted his head, he saw Celia walking down the street, going the opposite way of him. Francisco perked up like a dog. Celia, how good it is to see you, my friend, Francisco said. Francisco spread his arms, going in for a hug, and Celia dodged him. What are you doing out? The sun has practically left the sky, Celia said. Francisco pouted over his missed hug. Coming back from the office. I was looking for a place to stay tonight, he answered. Francisco perked up once more. Say, how about I lounge with you tonight? Francisco asked. Celia scowled. You know how I feel about freeloaders sleeping in my house? No, he replied. Come on, it's been a few days since we last saw each other. Haven't you missed me? Francisco put his arms around Celia and poked his cheeks playfully as he said that. Celia shook him off. No, why not go sleep at Cordelia's house? I hear you haven't been visiting her lately, Celia told him. I don't want to interrupt the lovey-dovey atmosphere at our house, Francisco hugged Celia's back. Please, I could use the company, he said. Celia sighed, giving in to his request. Fine, but just for the night, Celia said. Francisco beamed, hugging Celia tighter, making Celia shake him off. As they were heading in the direction of Celia's house, and Francisco was following behind him happily, Francisco placed his hand on his chest. Why was he so happy just at the sight of Celia? Why was his heart pounding like a drum in his chest? And why did it feel like there was a fluttering in his stomach? William's words ran once more in his mind. Is it truly so? It just can't be. Celia grabbed an extra blanket and pillow from his closet. He had learned to have extras when Benvolio had stayed with him. Why was Francisco so keen on spending time with him? He would have very well spent the night with one of the many skirts he chases. He sighed softly. This would be the first night that they stayed in the same room all night since then. He remembered how for a while after that night he had hoped it would have happened again. He shook his head, blushing lightly. Preposterous! That had been a one-time thing, a simple comforting strategy to help with the grieving process of Juliet. Nothing more. Francisco walked in just as Celia was setting up a place for him by his bed. He was holding food in his arms. Please tell me you're not eating my inventory, Celia said. No worries, this all came from your pantry, Francisco replied. Francisco sat down on Celia's bed, eating away at his food. Why are you eating anyway? You should be getting ready for sleep, Celia asked. Francisco swallowed the morsel he had been chewing on. But what I was wanting to do was have some bonding time. Plus, nothing better than a snack before bed, Francisco said. Celia sighed, maneuvering around Francisco and laying down on his bed and covering up with his blanket. Well, I'm sleeping. You should sleep too as well. He turned away from Francisco, facing the wall. Francisco set the food on a nearby stand and sat down on the floor where his bed had been made. He leaned his back against the bed, looking at the ceiling. Occasionally he would look in the direction of Celia and stare at the back of his head. His eyes misted over with emotions he couldn't believe were overcoming him. So it is true. I love Celia. As he stared at the back of his head, he yearned to run his fingers through the gruffer man's hair. It was the same color of the ground, yet was so much more pleasant to look at. Say, do you ever think about that night? Francisco asked. Which night? There have been many nights, Celia answered. Francisco's heart seemed to be wanting to burst from his chest from just talking about it. The night, a month after Julia left us, the one when we were together. It was taking all of Francisco's mental strength to speak coherent sentences. On the bed facing towards the wall, Kilia was blushing in the remembrance of the night once more. His heart beat like a drum, but he had to speak, or answer the question. He had to say something. Maybe he could fake falling asleep, get away from the question. Maybe he could... Kilia? Francisco asked. Kilia couldn't muster the mental strength to answer him. Francisco got up and sat on the edge of the bed. He then put his hand on each side of Kilia, pinning him as he leaned over him. What are... Kilia was beginning to ask. Kilia was cut off by Francis's lips connecting with his own. Kilia's eyes opened with shock, his heart practically bursting from his chest. Francisco's lips were warm and soft in comparison to Kilia's rough lips. Kilia broke out of his trance and pushed Francisco off him, not hard enough to where he fell over, but with enough force to push him a safe distance away. Go to sleep, Kilia said. Francisco looked shocked at his own actions that he had committed, but he had also felt happy, not wanting to anger Kilia. He lay down in his bed and blushed until he was completely red in the face. Both of their hearts were beating in unison, both shocked, both happy for a reason they didn't fully understand yet.